Hey everyone, and welcome back to IDEANTHRO Movement Week 2, where we are talking about the importance of skill development in our movement practice. On today's episode, we are talking about another kind of element within skills, which is the balance between tension and relaxation. We talked about these concepts called sequence of timing in the last episode. Well, we're going with another pair here, tension and relaxation. If you walk into any traditional gym setting where people are being taught to lift, for example, you might hear cues like get tight, brace, something like that. There is a lot within lifting of this concept of tighter is better. In real world movement, there are situations where bracing and getting tight are useful, but it's not always better. In our practice, we find and we search for and we teach you how to find the appropriate balance between tension and relaxation. And to make the point as to why there is a balance, because you might have done some lifting before and you might have been consistently told to brace really hard. And you know what? If you're lifting a really heavy weight off the ground in a deadlift, bracing really hard probably makes that easier. But let's give you a real world example. So let's take it that in something like a really heavy lift, like a max effort deadlift, it's not a bad idea to brace pretty hard. And that within your abilities to brace, you're probably not going to be able to get too tight. Strictly speaking, you probably can, but you know what I mean. Like, the appropriate amount of tension and tightness in the body is at the upper end of what you're capable of generating. But let's now look at another movement task, and a really simple one. I want you to go and try something. You might need to pause the video to do it, because I'm probably just going to keep talking through. But once you've explained what it is, pause it, go and try it for a second. I want you to walk across whatever room you're in. This could be highly amusing, depending on if you're in a public space. You might just get up and walk across the room, and people might be like, what are you doing? It's going to get even funnier, because when you come back and do part 2 of this, I want you to get up and I want you to walk across that room, squeezing every muscle in your body absolutely as tightly as you possibly can. Ready? Go. Yeah, that was funny. Who was in a public place when they did that? Who got noticed? Walking around like you had the proverbial rod up the proverbial backside. Which felt better, walking normally or walking really tightly? Of course, you intuitively knew how to walk with a fairly appropriate amount of tension, but when you walked really, really tight, didn't quite work so well. That should demonstrate to you that there is an appropriate amount of tightness, and it's not always near the upper end of what you can generate. So this applies to other movements. Of course, now you can go too far down the other end of this. You could, you don't have to, but you could get up and try and walk across the room with as little as tension as possible. Now, if you walk across the room with no tension as possible, you won't actually walk across the room, you'll slump onto the floor. But if you walk across the room with little tension, you probably flail around a little bit, and it'll be quite inefficient and not ideal. And so this is the point, that skill development and good movement is a balance of tension and relaxation. And in general terms, you want as little tension as you can while still performing the task efficiently, because any additional tension is wasted energy and therefore isn't actually efficient. So we use drills in our movement practice, and we make it a conscious effort, a conscious thing to practice, to actually try and release unnecessary tension as we do things. Tighter is not better. Tighter is useful in certain circumstances. A certain amount of tension is necessary and useful, but only the minimum that you need to perform a task safely and efficiently. That is a key difference between our movement practice and that of a typical fitness industry and gym industry. We actually want to do things as easily as we can. In the real world, you want to be efficient and easy. In the gym, though, for some reason, we've decided we want to strain all the time. It's not necessary. There are times to strain, but most of the time we just want to train efficiently. Okie dokie, that is it for this episode of IDEANTHRO Movement. If you liked it, you can give us a like or subscribe. If you want to know more, you can go to ideanthro.com/movement. You can find out stuff about our facility in Oxley, Brisbane, Australia. At some point in the future, there will be online training there. If you want to come for a free trial at our facility, you can go to ideanthro.com/free-trial. if you'd just like to get in touch and maybe debate this point or any other episode, or suggest an idea for an episode, you can go to ideanthro.com/connect. Okie dokie, thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.